Hello, people.
Good morning, everybody in the Twitter, YouTube's world.
Yeah. Hot topics in the world today.
Let's talk about what's going on in the world.
Right.
The most important thing.
Taylor Swift.
It's not a psyops.
Oh, my God. I thought that was so crazy. I absolutely gave it no credence whatsoever.
Yeah, well, that's just stupid.
That is just so dumb. It could not be.
Guess what?
Until we woke up this morning and saw a montage from almost every news network in the country. I don't know who put that together, but kudos.
Thank you.
Each and every one of them. Taylor Swift is not a psyops. Let me tell you something. When the media says it ain't true and goes after it like this, you know it's true. So Taylor Swift is a government operative for Joe Biden. I wonder what she's getting. Well, she's so naive. She's probably doing it for free because she thinks it's, But look at this, Travis Kelsey, whatever your name is, buddy, you better get a signed deal right now for half the royalties on the song she's going to make when she breaks up with you.
Yeah.
Because it'll be a hit.
It's a distraction, guys.
It's a distraction.
It's typical of the government, of whoever's in charge of the government. Because if you really think that the people in the White House and in the West Wing and the Congress and that you think they are in charge, they're not in charge.
Look, it's a full-blown conspiracy by our government. And I'm talking both Republican and Democrats. Trump sucks. And what's happening now is you have Joe Biden shutting the government down. You have, freedom of speech. He's trying to shut freedom of speech down right now. He's going after just, if you stood in the crowd on January 6th and watched the excitement, they're going after you. You got the IRS. They're going after you. All right. He's trying to shut down freedom of speech. He has his truth ministry working in full-blown whatever, right? And so what they're doing right now is they're blaming Donald Trump, saying if Donald Trump gets into office, you're not going to have your free speech. They're going to be taking all these Democrats to court. Well, look what the Democrats are doing right now. As far as I understand this, let me explain something about Donald Trump. When he went to trial, he was found not guilty of raping that Jean Carl. He was found not guilty. Okay? He didn't do it. So then he said he didn't do it and she wasn't his type. So then she sues him in whatever
defamation
court. Sues him for defamation because her feelings got hurt that he said she was kind of fugly and didn't rape her. Now that's just his opinion. That's corrected. That's under free speech. But no, she sued him. Then he said it again. She sued him again. So Donald Trump is actually having to pay $83 million, right? Because he said he didn't rape a woman that he didn't rape. Hello? Make that make sense.
Right?
So what they're doing is they're saying if Trump gets into office, he's going to do what the Democrats are doing. Or that side of it's not Democrats, it's Republicans too. Make no mistake about it. Republicans in the House and in the Senate don't want Donald Trump because he's the worst thing in the world for business as usual. One thing we need is term limits.
I mean, ask yourself, why would the news go out of their way to tell you that Taylor Swift is not a psyop?
Right.
Why would the government go out of its way to tell you that Taylor Swift is not a psyop?
Yeah, why would the government even get involved in this?
Okay, so then watch. We had with our friend, a friend of ours, we have this. I have a green card.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he heard or read somewhere.
Yeah, that there was a radio transmitter.
We would have gone to our deathbed denying such a foolishness.
Right, guess what?
There is a radio transmitter.
5 minutes of research online and my wife found what?
They have a radio transmitter on. You guys
Oh my God.
And our theory anymore. I mean, we used to be, I think, more naive or
Yeah,
more.
we were.
But our theory now is if they're doing so, supposedly according to the government website I looked it on, all they're doing is supposedly is so that they can scan it and they can see who you are without having to do all this research, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Usually, our theory is if they're doing something, they're doing 5 times more than that. So it is a very distinct possibility that when you crossing the border with that thing in your pocket, it knows you cross the border and then you cross the back.
Yep.
They're tracking everything. And you know what? You know who else has super fancy IDs before we left? California did.
California did, yes.
I mean, our Texas IDs are plain Jane. There ain't much to them.
Right.
California IDs, man, they got holograms and they got this and they got that and all that.
Yeah.
So they think it's it's a way of controlling you.
And it's like people, oh my God, you hear these people and they just repeat what they're being told. Okay? Now, it blows my mind. It's like the absolute, I really don't want to say stupidity, but that's the only word that comes to mind. I'm blue, blue is right.
Yeah.
I'm red, red is right. No, you people missed the whole thing. I will say people that identify as the left are far, far meaner than people that identify to the right. There's a Bible phrase about that, it says people with a pure heart go to the right, basically mean people go to the left, and that's the truth. When you look at the Kavanaugh trial, right, there's absolutely no evidence. Even her own friends that said that she said would support her and be a witness said they had no idea of this. There was literally no evidence, okay? And yet everybody is convinced that this Kavanaugh did this, even though he had a diary what a nerd. But anyway, he's got a diary for every day of his life, right?
Although I tell you what, I appreciating that. I've taken to write down just like the events of the day.
Yes, she does, so she can hit it in the prayers.
Yeah, and just that, but it's kind of a nerdy girl thing to do. Who knows?
Yeah, it's crazy. They want to force this down your throat. No. You have to use my pronouns. No, I don't. It's not optional. It's a must. No, it's not. And how dare you try to force me to respect you when you don't respect me? Does that make sense, people?
Look, in a regular conversation.
Yeah, I wouldn't go out of my way to hurt someone.
You would never even come up with this. It sounds to me like you wouldn't come up with the pronoun thing. You would call somebody by their name, hey, Judy, Siam, whatever, and you would talk to each other. The only time that I would probably say, well, she did this, he did that, it would be
once you know someone, you don't use a pronoun anyway.
No, you don't.
You use their name.
Yeah. But it's all made up drama.
It is.
It's all made up drama.
It's all meant to divide us.
You just use the they, thems and all that.
Look,
but
they want to, and it's not the government. All right, I know I sound crazy when I'm saying this. The 1%, the rich people. Because if you are 100% controlled, you have to buy their products. All right? Now, while we're on control, let's go to,
What? Okay. No, go ahead.
Let's go to Black History Month.
Okay.
Divide and well, go ahead.
Okay, let me say it before because this.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Look. Like he's gonna talk about like divide and conquer. Right. Okay. They have divided us into supposedly red and blue. Okay.
Yep. And now into smaller groups.
There's no such thing of any of that.
Nope.
We are true. You know where we're truly divided? Between the poor and the rich.
That's it.
This whole thing that's been happening affects us people that are barely making it from 1 month to the next. The rich people are just getting richer, and we're just getting poorer.
Well, before we move on to Black History Month, okay, there's a recent rash of videos of little girls and little boys sitting in their car crying about, why do I have to work? Why do I have to work to have a house and a car? You know, these are, what do they call them? Basic human needs.
Nobody gave us that.
If no one works, who's going to pay for that, young lady and young gentleman?
And then she says, the one we watched this morning, I have to work all week. And then on the weekends, because I'm too tired over the week, I have to do all the chores I can do over the week. I'm really tired. I'm just tired.
I'm not laughing at you. Yes, I am laughing at you. I'm sorry. That's just so funny. But
who lied to you? Let me tell you what we told our kids. And we tell our kids still. No one's going to give you anything. All you can hope for is the ability and the ability to work every single day of your life. That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Now, let's move from there to the Black History Month, all right? Nothing chafes my ass more than Black History Month. And I'll tell you why. Because some of the smartest men that I've ever met in my life have been black guys, all right? Martin Luther King Jr., all right? Either we walk forward together as brothers or we perish separately.
That's right.
Now, the black community has the biggest problem of any community that's ever existed: absentee fathers. How did this happen? Because the government, aka the Democratic side of the government this time, because back then there truly was two sides of the coin. Back then, they subsidized single motherhood in the black community, all right? So it became profitable for a woman to have a few children and not have any man in the house. Now, like when I said the most intelligent black men I've ever met in my life, they were actually married, they had children, and they were at home. They were very smart. All right. This is just another means for divide and conquer. You have to understand there's no such thing as black history. History is history, and we need the truth. All right. When you bring a group out, especially because what they've been doing to the black community is through Planned Parenthood, they've kept your numbers low. You guys are you're less than a quarter of the population and shrinking. Yet, they keep promising you 50% of the jobs. All right? Now, how do you think that's going to happen? So they're going to put unqualified people in jobs that they don't need it. The biggest telltale of this is in the military right now. The military cannot meet its recruitment goals. Why? Because ignorant white boys are not going to serve. And there's an absolute reason why the Midwest, bread and butter Americans, right? They don't want to serve in a military where their chances of promotion are very, very short. And they know that black people and people of minority, as the government calls them, are going to get those promotions whether they're qualified or not. What is the point of me serving in the military? And now it's not just the recruitment goals. The military has a huge problem of junior officers. They're not staying in. They're getting out. Why are they getting out? Same reasons.
Yeah.
Divide and conquer. Yeah. Now what we have is a warmonger administration. And look, both Republicans and Democrats are in this administration here.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're facing war on three fronts. All right. And we're facing war on three fronts because for some unknown reason, people think Trump sucked. So this administration on day one decided to undo everything Donald Trump did. There you go. Your economy got shot because we stopped drilling. Yeah. All right. all our foreign policies that were working great, no new wars in 4 years, he overturned those, and now look what happened.
Yeah, I mean, look, we just need to stay. It all really comes back to sticking together as a
yes,
community.
we have to stick together.
Don't kill your babies, you guys.
Yeah.
Don't. There's a reason why the Mexican and Hispanic population keeps growing. We don't kill our babies.
That's right.
Before you know it, instead of a white or black country, you're gonna have a brown country. Okay, so and honestly, all we ever, what is your hope for this life? Really, your hope for it is that you can work, feed your family, and leave enough so that you give the next generation a head start.
Right.
We need to. There's a little bit too much of selfishness, I think, in the world.
It's all me. I mean,
we've been talking about in our Christian channel about this pastor that went recommended a grandma to go to a wedding, blah blah blah. The thing is, what I noticed though, he then made a whole sermon response, and the people that were unconvinced to begin with, they were still unconvinced. And the people that they understand that there's grace there to be given, and that sometimes every person has to look at things in their own individual situation.
right.
That they're more mature and stuff. So evidently he called the people that were being intransigent, if that's a word, with his commentary. Essentially he called them Pharisees and legalistic and all of that.
I've been to churches with a preacher I swear was a Pharisee,
and I agree with him. I mean, because I tell you what, and he bleeds into everything in the world. When you think you're right, you never give each other the chance to be convinced. Okay, let me ask you something real quick. In your own head, think about it. When is the last time you went into an argument with the willingness to have your mind changed?
For me, it's every time.
I'm like,
yeah.
Give me, okay?
I was like, we told you we were arguing about that chip in the thing. I'd have gone to my grave believing that was impossible until we looked it up and found out it was true. And I even apologized. You're right. Who'd have thought?
And as Christians, the thing is, you have to think about in as Christians, and then as everybody in the world, you have to stop and think. When you have an opinion on something, anything, is this something I have an opinion on because this is how I was raised, this is my morals, my way of thinking, or is this something that I am just repeating because I heard the majority of the people say it and therefore I agree with it? And let me tell you, we spend a lot of time in scripture. We spend a lot of time on, and even as we sometimes we're like, oh, you can get swayed by the public opinion, but it takes real maturity to say, okay, well, let's stop and see whether this is true or not, whether this is something that we should be behind or not. Right. So we just have to not repeat. Did I hear it or did I think it myself? And that's a hard thing to do.
But and it's like with that control, you have to understand. Like right now, I think I heard like 22 or 26% of the Black community is moving towards conservatism. Okay, so as soon as a portion of the Black community got away from the reservation and what they were told, and they're moving towards conservatism and Christian values, now you have the replacement going on. Yeah. They're going to bring more compliant people across the border. They're going to give them, the Black community or the minority communities, benefits because there ain't enough money to go around. All right. So the Black community is just like we did with the banks. I remember going to the bank. There was a girl that I knew, man, this is a long time ago. I was in my early 20s. And, we have ATM machines. Let me show you how it works. I said, you're advocating for the replacement of your job, right? Because they're going to replace you with this. No. This is just an aide. I'm like, well, okay. Yeah, about 3 weeks later, I was talking to her. I ran into her at the gas station. Yep, they fired her.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Okay, and I mean, okay, so I was listening to this one podcast one day, and some religious thing, and he was talking about the Roman Empire. And they were trying to figure out how, not so much how to control the slaves, but how to figure out who's a slave and who's not, because everybody looks the same.
Right.
And who were Roman slaves and stuff.
Right.
And they had the bright idea to dress them all in the same kind of clothes, kind of outfit.
Right.
And they shut that down real quick. Why? Because then the slaves themselves could see how many of them there are.
Right.
Friends.
How much they outnumbered the Romans.
We outnumber everybody in government and the rich people.
But
Why?
we have to come together.
Yes.
We have to, look, we don't have to agree on everything, but we have to agree on something, or this country is doomed.
Yeah. So, okay, think about it. It all comes down to, unfortunately, it all comes down to money.
Does.
Okay? Why are you a parent, or you a young person, you want to be able to afford to go see a Taylor Swift concert? You know what? The first thing you can do is not go and not pay that money.
Stop going. Stop paying $300, $500,
$600.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Do you want the people in the football games to stop doing their behaviors and stuff? Bring it down.
Stop going.
Stop going. Stop watching. Stop all of that. They will bring down their salaries, and then everybody can go to a game.
Oh, and while you're, look, there's another way to divide us. And you're so silly and simple-minded, you're going along with it because you want to feel special. Now they have a black national anthem. There is only one national anthem. There isn't two. All right? Special needs. These people, what's what we used to call them in school? The special needs people. The short bus. The special needs is going to destroy this country. Everybody feels like they're special. Hey,
we're not.
Pause that a minute.
Oh.
Yeah, hold on. People will be right back. But sorry about that. Had some business. But look, this is not a hate thing in any way.
No.
I want to unite this country.
Yeah.
I want this country. I want exactly what Dr. King said. I want us to walk forward as brothers, all right? And as long as you're letting the system divide us, you're weak. You're always going to be weak. You're never going to be strong. And you have to rely on other people for just even your basic thoughts in life.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
But if you're strong, if you have a good, strong family unit, you're stronger. That's why Black Lives Matter, which, by the way, is the money goes back to George Soros, who's a white guy, by the way. But that's why one of their things is to destroy the nucleus family. Why? So you can send the kids to the schools, a.k.a. indoctrination centers, be taught things that have no relevancy. One of my favorite things is this guy out there at the boardwalk, right? He'll ask college students, was Abraham Lincoln a Republican or a Democrat? And they don't know.
No.
Yeah.
No. So, I mean, it's yeah. As long as we have our we're separated and we're there's a reason. The Bible tells you not to have idols of any kind, because then instead of seeking the well-being of everybody else, instead of being working as a community, we end up working for the man, so to speak. To buy expensive this. There's the Stanley Cup, okay?
Yeah.
That pink, it's the ugliest mug I ever seen in my life. It's ugly. The Stanley Cups are ugly. And somehow, and expensive. And somehow they have made all these women, influencers and stuff, they are acting like fools. Yeah, they're acting.
We were going to talk about the hospital, but we'll skip that.
No. We'll talk about it real quick. And
well, 2
well,
minutes.
no, we'll tell you about our hospital adventure tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
But all I wanted to say was like, they use this to manipulate us, guys. Spend all your money on stupid stuff and all of that. And now, instead of using actors and actresses and the people in the government, they have people like you and I, influencers.
I think it's going up, so we can talk longer.
Well,
yeah, but here, anyhow, it's like there's a huge problem in the cities. Okay. Most of these issues that we're seeing are in the cities. If you live in a city, you have to understand you live in a shit bucket, okay? You look at LA, Sacramento. Do you want to live like this? I saw this lady in the Senate, and she was saying, oh, they're moving, Walgreens is moving out of these communities, right? Yeah, they're moving out of the communities because people are running in there and stealing stuff wholesale. This is a business. I can't afford to have a business in a neighborhood where all my profits are eaten up by thieves. And if you live in this community, even if you're not taking part in the thievery, you are partly responsible for this. Communities have to police themselves.
Yeah. Yep, they do.
Yes.
Anyway, you guys, we have a.
Well, we
do you
can do
want to talk about the hospital?
Yeah, why not?
We'll do it quick. Okay. So we've had to go to the hospital 2 times this week.
Let's start with the doctors.
This month.
Here's something. Yeah, we'll start with the doctors before we talk about what happened to me yesterday. Has anyone noticed that there are no doctors anymore? I'm just saying, okay.
I don't know if it's the same in every state.
Yeah.
But everywhere we go, there's no doctors.
Nurse practitioners is what they call themselves.
Now,
what do you call it? My primary care physician is a nurse practitioner.
Yeah.
I went to the emergency room yesterday. Who saw me? Nurse practitioner. My wife went to the hospital the other day. Who saw her? Nurse practitioner.
Yes, no doctors.
No doctors.
No doctors to be found. And it's just bizarre. I just thought of this the other day too, a few minutes ago. There were no men in the staff.
Hardly any. I noticed that.
The janitor, which was a dude.
The X-ray fella that did the CAT scan or whatever you call it.
The guy that was doing the blood test. But every other person there was a woman. It used to be that
it was all men.
You'd have
except for the nurses,
No. But even in the nursing staff, you had men.
Lots of them.
You had men. There would be a couple men here and there, some women, a male doctor, or even a female doctor. It didn't matter. But there was a good mixture of people there.
Yeah.
Not this time.
No.
And no offense to the people that were there. I mean, I'm sure they're very intelligent and all that. But they all look like they all behave and acted like amateurs.
Yes.
This one lady we had as the doctor yesterday, she kept telling the nurse to do something.
She told her like 3 times, and I saw. Yeah.
It never got done.
And she never got done. She was sitting outside eating a sandwich or something. Yeah, that was crazy.
Anyways.
Then they got surprised when I got up and walked out, but it was crazy. But I have issues. I'm an old guy. I've abused my body when I was younger. I wasn't always as good a Christian as I should be. That's why when I'm speaking on the race thing, look, I'm 62 years old, okay? I remember real racism, okay? Racism that was not invented, all right? And this has come down to every facet of life. If you don't agree with someone, they're going to call you a name. I remember real racism. I mean, when we met in the streets and fought black and white. Then later on, when I was in the military, my best friend ever, Gino, he was a black guy, all right? And to this day, I have black friends, all right? Because we got over it. And you've got this young generation convinced that they're being kept back because of racism. No, you're being kept back because you're in a school you didn't qualify to be in, right? And once you get out of school, you choose the dumbest thing in the world to get a degree in, all right? And you don't have a trade that you can sell. You have no skills.
None whatsoever.
But anyway, back to hospital.
Back to the hospital.
Yeah.
So he started feeling really bad, dizzy and numb and all that. And on the way to the hospital.
I couldn't move and I almost passed out.
Almost passed out. I had to get him into a chair, wheelchair to get him into the hospital.
That must have looked funny. You should have asked somebody to film that part.
I don't know, but I tell you.
She dragged me out the car, put me in a wheelchair.
It was interesting. So let me tell you something. We walked in and his heart was racing and all this stuff. Felt like it. Anyway, they did the test. They triaged real quick. I got to tell you, that was good. They put him in the room, in the emergency room. And then they proceeded to draw blood and do this and that and just test. And they couldn't figure out. And so what happened? They couldn't figure out what's wrong with him. So they didn't do anything.
Right.
Nothing. But they wanted to do a test for the plague. And
for the pandemic.
And
I'm like, no, I don't have a cold. All right.
And then they didn't. They
wanted me to stay the night.
And
why?
You know what? That was sick,
to bill the insurance companies.
When the nurse practitioner said, "We want you to stay overnight," and we said, "No, we're not. Whatever, figure out whatever is wrong, and then we're gonna go home because there is nothing you can do in the hospital that I can't do." That's when they stopped caring.
That's how you know Big Pharma has taken over the whole medical industry, because it wasn't really for her about trying to figure out what was happening with me, because obviously she wasn't listening to my symptoms. But she ran every test that she could to make money, all right? She wanted to keep me overnight to make more money after I already knew she had no idea what was happening. She wanted to hit me with a COVID test. Why? Because they get paid for that.
Yeah.
All right? So there's your problem. They want you sick. They don't want to help you. That could be the reason why we have all these nurse practitioners now. But yeah, it was painfully obvious that everything they were doing was to rack up the bill.
And I mean, I tell you what, that we were tired and a little hangry when we left.
Oh yeah,
because we were there for 7 hours in the hospital. But when we left, we were like, I tell you what, you're gonna have to drag me in back into a hospital dead.
That's why that's why I don't go to them.
I'm just gonna die in my bed and whatever. I'm not going to the doctor to the hospital anymore. Whatever happens, we're staying home.
Yeah.
Bye, lovey.
Be careful.
Love you. Bye. Bye-bye. What time you come home?
5 today.
Okay. But yeah, I tell you what, I've come to the conclusion that it's gonna take you don't want to say anything because God is the one that does everything, but good Lord, you're gonna have to drag me kicking and screaming to a hospital ever again.
You haven't noticed since the pandemic, and I'm calling it that because, in my opinion, the evidence, and no one will research it, right? The evidence points to Dr. Fauci. All right, I'll just go ahead and say his name. In my opinion, he authorized gain-of-function research in China to create a virus that didn't exist. Now, it either got out of hand all by itself or someone released it on us. They cured, and here you go, the Trump sucky suck. There's got to be a villain. They picked him. What was used to cure President Trump of COVID? And they cured him like in 2 days, right? So it worked. Instantly, that became a villain. Pharmacists refused to fill prescriptions for that whatever it was, right? They took jobs away from doctors who had been treating successfully COVID patients, right? They ruined the medical industry with this because the medical industry was trying to fight back against the powers that be. So now what do we have? All those doctors, right, who are in some degree suing to get their jobs back. Some are just suing to get money and staying at home. But now we have all these nurse practitioners. But look, this is not made up. A few minutes of research, and it's getting harder because, you know, it's just like they change definitions on Wikipedia all the time to suit their needs.
Yeah.
This is just a wake-up call. You guys need to understand that the middle class, there's no middle class. You're a moron if you think you're in the middle class. No, there's poor people, and then there's what you would call, I guess, less than 1% now, the rich people. These rich people are, what do they call them? The donors. All right. So when you get into the House of Representatives or to the Senate or to the presidency, you have to do what these donors want to do. These are the people that want war into Ukraine. Why? Because it's simple. They get to sell more weapons. Okay. These are the people financing Israel. Why? Because they get to sell more stuff. Now, why do these people want immigration? Because they get to sell more stuff, all the way down to the food people and the candy bar people.
Yeah.
Right? These people will come across the border. The government gives them money. They will spend the money, and the rich get richer.
That's right, and we get poorer. It goes back to the same. But look, what I can say, I mean, this medical stuff, you guys, I've been in the hospital 4 times with my kids having C-sections.
Yeah.
Okay, and before that, I think I was for some.
You used to get good care.
It was amazing.
Before the pandemic, you had good medical care.
The people that went there, you know, the doctors, the nurses were amazing. You could tell there was real actual care, and now, I'm sorry, they couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. Instead of keep trying or maybe think out of the box or whatever, they say, okay, well, it's not worth our money. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
And we didn't even. I mean, he was sick. He's still sick, right?
Yeah, I'm still sick. I'm still dizzy.
All that, but they never even tried to figure out what it was.
Nope.
No, and there was no like a protocol. She said, "I'm gonna give you a protocol, you know, like a medication."
She gave us nothing.
She gave nothing. The second we said we don't want to stay overnight in the hospital,
and I wouldn't let them give me the Kofifi.
They stopped caring.
Yeah. They
stopped caring. So I don't know if it's just our impression, but
those were the rants for today.
That's it, guys. We got. That's it, man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure we'll come up with something.
But yeah, I'm sure tomorrow we'll bring something else. But I'm telling you, stop letting them divide us. Get rid of this hatred. Together we're strong. Separated, we're weak. And let's face it, the black community has been decimated.
Learn from the past.
Right.
What happened with Budweiser?
Yep.
Enough people said, we're not buying this thing. We're done with it. And they,
if we stand together, we're unstoppable.
Let's do it. You know.
Yeah. I have no animosity towards anybody.
No, but you know what? Is like I said, the richer get richer, the poorer get poorer.
But they're taught this in schools. You know.
Perhaps take your kids out of school and you teach them.
Perhaps, yes. You put some effort into your children, and perhaps you don't have children out of wedlock, and perhaps you stop being a hoe and having these children and having abortions.
It's like one of those, debaters out there. The lady was saying how white people have more privilege and all of that, and he asked
contraception is free.
He asked her, do you have a job? Yes. Do you go to school? Yes. Are you? Do you have no children yet? Yes. She says, yeah. So all those decisions that you make along the line are the ones that decide whether you're going to be successful in life or not.
Yeah.
But if you are as a young person or a single woman or a single man are sexually active, there is a very chance and probability that you will get pregnant. And then you have to make a decision if to kill a child or have a child.
Contraception is free.
Abstinence is 100% sure.
Right. And abstinence, right. Look, if you act like a prostitute, you cannot be surprised when people treat you like that.
Yep, exactly.
Well, all men are alike. I hear this a lot. No, all men aren't alike. Just the ones in the bars you're going to.
Yeah.
Right? But hey.
You do you, boo.
Anyway, God bless everybody. And look, you guys need to stand together. We all need to stand together and stop letting them destroy us with Black History Month and rewriting history. And these people are doing nothing but make money off of you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right. But anyway, God bless everybody.
God bless. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Oh, I got to do what? Oh, there it is.